Embracing diversity. Graceful exchange. Honoring God. Graceful exchange. Where wisdom meets harmony in every conversation.
Our Graceful Exchange live podcast. We say welcome to you who are joining us on tonight. Won't you do me a favor real quick and like and share? Like, share. We want you to like and share. Heart it and share. Do me the favor and take the moment of hearting and sharing. Why don't you invite your followers to watch this podcast on tonight? We have some good talking. We have some good talking. It's going to be some good talking, right? And so, again, we say welcome to you that have joined us so far, but let's go ahead and do the favor of like and share. It doesn't cost you anything to like and to share. Help us share what we're going to speak about on tonight. We'll have a real conversation because that's how we do it, right? We are real, open, and honest. And we are very transparent. So we're grateful that you joined us on tonight. But let's take the moment. Invite your followers. Invite your friends, your family, even your frenemies. Won't you invite them, right? Let's go ahead and give them a space in the room so they can see, they can witness what we're talking about tonight. We got some good talking. All right. So again, we are grateful to share with you wherever you are. And we have our co-host tonight, Asia Sade.
Hey, y'all.
Got Tony.
What up?
Got Pastor Mama.
Hey.
And we got TYB.
Yes.
And so we are grateful for those that are sitting at the table. We're grateful for those that are committed to sharing with you our heart, our mind, our wisdom, and just having a grand time with you. We have a good time. This is not uptight. We do a lot of laughing, a lot of joking, but we mean what we say and we say what we mean. And so we're grateful again that you would join us. But go ahead and do me the favor. If you're just popping on, why don't you heart it? Heart this, heart this, heart this. Give me some of your hearts. All right. And we want you to interact with us. We want you to comment. We want you to talk to us. All right. Talk to us. We are very interactive with our audience. So we want you to talk to us. We are live. Somebody say live.
Live.
All right. We are live and we are ecstatic about this time. And so let's go ahead and like, share, and comment. All right. Do a lot of talking to us. Do a lot of talking. We love to see your comments. Tag somebody. Somebody needs this tonight. Somebody sitting at home trying to Netflix chill. Pull them out of there. Come on. Come out in Jesus' name, right? And so let's share this with somebody that needs to hear this wisdom and have a grand old time. All right. Where we start?
Right. Let's get started with our business spotlight.
Business spotlight.
So Tim Jones Global presents the Financial Literacy 101. You can scan that QR code right at the bottom of your screen. It is happening on July the 6th, 2024 from 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. This is the place that you need to be in if you are trying to figure out your finances. You need to know how to steward well. You need to learn about debt. You need to learn about this and that so that you can stretch your coins. Make sure you get into the class with Dr. Timothy M. Jones Sr., the Kingdom Financier, a man with extensive wisdom in the financial system, proven work. So make sure you submit that $99 registration fee to Tim Jones Global 24 via Cash App and scan the code for the registration. All right, y'all. Fall 2024 registration is now open and available for the Remnant Theological Institute and Seminary and Open Arms International Bible College and Seminary. We have 20-month programs, advanced courses. All levels are available: certificates, diplomas, advanced diplomas, associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and honorary doctorates. If you are interested in any of those, you need a qualified education. Make sure you visit the website, openremnantseminary.org, so that you can find out more information and enroll. Revival Fire is happening. It is happening. Prayer and prophetic gathering hosted by Timothy Jones Ministries and Dr. Timothy M. Jones Sr. This is happening on Friday, August the 2nd. If you are interested, make sure you get on out. It is always necessary for prayer. So come on out for a time to be had. All right. We have Prophet Ranisha Anderson, Apostle Steve Rice Sr., of course, Dr. Timothy M. Jones Sr., and myself, Pastor Asia S. Foster. We want you in the place. 7:30 p.m. Friday, August the 2nd. Mark your calendars. Operation Engage Community Development Food Organization. Our community food giveaway is happening on Friday, July the 12th, 2024 at 5 o'clock p.m. We bless the community at large, so make sure you are out here. If you are in need, you know someone that is, tell them to come on by 2324 Orchard Street right here in Blue Island. Again, that's July the 12th, Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Come on out so that you can get blessed and be a blessing. Orchard Street Christian Daycare Center is hiring for a teacher and a teacher's assistant. If you or someone you know is qualified as a candidate, please submit your resume to oscdcemployment@gmail.com, and someone from the admin team will make sure we get back to you. Send qualified candidates our way, all right? And last but not least, we are enrolling for scholars, not just 15 to 23 months. We have a variety of open slots as we just had a graduation this past summer. So if you have a child, a scholar that is in need of daycare, quality daycare, make sure you get them our way. 2324 Orchard Street right here in Blue Island, 708-489-5324. We're open from 6:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. And you can also submit an email at orchardstreetchristiandaycare@gmail.com. Oh, and of course, you're always welcome to fellowship with us right here at Remnant Empowerment Center, the Couch Experience. All right, this is the year of transformative healing from within. Sundays, prayer begins at 10:30 a.m. and the experience is at 10:45. Wednesday nights, we have our worship in the Word. The prayer starts at 7:15 and the experience is at 7:30. Come on out here where you can heal from within with our spiritual clinician, our apostle, Dr. Timothy M. Jones Sr. Again, that's right here at 2324 Orchard Street in Blue Island.
All right.
Come on, Agnes.
All right. All right. All right. So you've heard all the announcements. So govern yourselves accordingly. All right. Govern yourselves accordingly. We would love to have you share with us. We are doing some amazing things and we've got an amazing group of people. And when I tell you, we are a blessed people. Blessed people. The favor and the blessing of God is upon us, and so we're grateful. We would love for you. I think y'all need to go ahead and jump on that finance class, the financial literacy. Mm-hmm. When I tell you it works, it works. And so I'm not just saying that because I'm the one doing it, but it is proven to work.
Absolutely.
Folks got some money now. Folks got some stuff. So, amen. They see the goodness of Jesus, right? By following the techniques and the process in which we train and teach. So, again, you should invest in you. Please invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Stop investing so much into others. Let's invest in ourselves. Get yourself straight. All right. But all the rest of them, as she mentioned, are very important. However, I think this is very key to help us out, right? Help our people out wherever you are. You want to be helped in the area of your finance, your saving, your future planning, generational wealth, budget planning, debt management, loans, all of that, retirement. I'm covering it all. If you need to talk about bankruptcies, all of that. Whatever you need, we got the info. All right. So make sure you register. All right. Let's go with our
spotlight
from social media. Social media spotlight. We're going to talk about this. This is something that I saw out there. It says some people should have never had access to me. That's my fault. I apologize to me for being so careless with myself. Mm-hmm. That thing ain't nothing like turning the searchlight on yourself and actually realizing that it's easy to shift the blame, but let's go ahead and take accountability that, let's be honest, some people should have never had access to us. It's nobody's fault but our own, right? So we got to sometimes repent, apologize to ourselves because we were careless. Because you can sometimes see red flags and ignore the red flags and give people access to you that will come to assassinate you, and all the rest. So let's talk about this real quick. The social media spotlight. Some people should have never had access to me. What are your thoughts? Well, some people should have never had access to me. That's my fault. I apologize to me for being so careless with myself. Yeah. My Lord.
Absolutely, positively true. You got to apologize for the stuff that you put yourself through. And being self-aware, you learn to, as you process your relationships, as you process where you are, you can take that moment to say, you know what? Yeah, I did that. Look, as you just preached, you did it to yourself, right? And it's that moment of light bulb. They wouldn't have the opportunity to betray me had I knew and went with what I knew. I could have saved myself some trouble and some time. Oftentimes, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Oh, we think people are like us. Your heart is going to be like mine. You're going to do me like I'm going to do you. And that's not always the case. But again, taking the time to self-care for yourself by saying, you know what? I'm sorry I did that to you. And that sounds crazy coming out. But sometimes we have to acknowledge the damage that we've done to ourselves.
I like how it says, I apologize to me. Because a lot of times we take accountability, but then that's it. We don't realize that once we've taken it in, now we're holding that guilt, that shame, and all of that. So apologizing to yourself, now forgive yourself. You know, a lot of times we skip over that part, like, okay, well, I know I ain't gonna do that no more, this, that, and the other, but we moving and we still in unforgiveness even to ourselves. So I like that part too, because you got to take accountability. You have to, but also learn from your mistakes and move on in forgiveness, even to yourself. Did you learn a lesson? Yes. You know, every part of it is important. So I love it.
I apologize to myself.
I know that's right. I know that's
And I forgive myself because some of those folks were some family members.
Yeah.
Someone.
And I know we're supposed to love our family, but if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Come on.
And I just forgive myself for even letting myself getting involved in some of that stuff I went through with some of my family members.
Yeah.
And that's for real, for real.
She said, I apologize to
That
myself.
thing right there.
That thing is deep. That's deep. Come on, because I know you got some wisdom.
Well, I just think about just probably where I was in a season in my life and just really dumbed myself down and allowed, people to have access to me that right now in my life would never have access to me.
Never.
Could never.
So it was just where I was in my life. And then with that, you, as Tony stated, you just got to forgive yourself, move on, extend yourself that olive branch and that grace and keep it moving. Don't get stuck there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. What about that part where it talks about, I apologize to myself. It says for being so careless with myself. Like, it's amazing how sometimes we will work hard to cover others, but we don't cover ourselves. We work so hard to provide for others, show up for others, but won't show up for ourselves, won't do for ourselves, won't take that moment to have self-care, right? But we'll find ourselves doing for people what we would not do for us and being careless, because if we're no good, we can't be a true help. We can't lead, guide, teach, train. We can't do anything authentically, gracefully if you are careless with you. So not only do we apologize to ourselves, but we acknowledge that we've been careless. Careless with our heart, careless with our deeds, all of that. We've been careless. So I think this overall is something very, very good. It hit home, and that's kind of why I saved it, because going back to the beginning, we have to acknowledge that we can't blame people all the time for what they did when we knew we should have never given them an in. They should have never sat at the table with us. They should have never dined with us, broke bread with us. They should have never, had the opportunity to hear some of the secrets or the intimate parts of our heart. A lot of this stuff we did to ourselves. As I preach, we did it to ourselves because you can see, and red flags are very visible. But again, as one of you mentioned, oftentimes we give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
You know, and I'm guilty of trying to see the good in people, even when the bad overshadows the good. But I'll still try to see the good. I guess that's the extension of grace and all the rest. But it typically will turn out and bite you, you know. And then we got to stop ignoring if a person is a snake, they're gonna bite you like they bit other people. Right. So really, we're careless in a lot of areas because we know what we see, and we just again we don't cover ourselves, and so we have to stop being so careless with ourselves. Is anybody commenting? Because I don't want to ignore anybody. Is anybody talking in them comments?
They ain't talking yet.
Y'all ain't talking? Y'all better stop being nosy and come on, talk to me. All right? Come on, talk to me. Do me a favor. You have joined the Graceful Exchange live podcast. We haven't even gotten to our subject on tonight just yet. We're about to go there now. But we do want to welcome you that have joined to the Graceful Exchange live podcast. Come on, live podcast. I'm going to have fun. All right. And so we are ecstatic about you joining us on tonight. We have a wonderful, wonderful subject. We're going to talk the talk and we're going to walk this walk. All right. Our topic tonight is Uh-oh. Right. Wrong audience. All right. Nope. Wrong audience. It is acknowledging when you talking to the wrong audience. It is acknowledging. All right. Greetings to those of you that have joined. Greetings to you. I saw Prophet Lonnie Davis and Bishop Nate Andrews. God bless y'all. All right. Bless you. All right. So let's talk. Wrong audience. So. Recognizing when we talk too much and when we talk too much to the wrong people.
Yep.
And when we are acknowledging when we talk the talk just because we need an audience. So we're going to talk about a couple things.
Well,
my Lord.
That was live sound effect.
What was it? So we gonna have, I like that one. Boy, they added that one. I like that. No, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna play tonight. I'm not gonna play. You know. All right. Is Rachel on here? She gotta help.
It's been a red flag for Rachel.
Yeah, we send the SOS or what they call it. All right. So having the wrong audience, knowing what to talk about in front of certain people, who not to talk in front of. Why do we talk in front of the audiences that we talk in front of? Is it to, again, get attention? Is it to convince ourselves of a thing? Is it to rush and get our side out? Are you thirsty for an audience? So we got a couple things we're going to talk about. All right. And so I want to start off with in the area of parenting. The issue or the problem when parents talk to their children about stuff that is adult business. Talking to. So not just talking in front of, but talking to our children about stuff that they have no business hearing.
Right.
Forcing them to use their adolescent minds to process an adult conversation. Okay, so it's those moments where you say, wrong audience. That shouldn't even go into the ears of your children, because now they form or try to process a conversation that their mind is not mature enough to process. I often tell people, you can tell when you have been the subject in somebody's home based upon how their children respond or do not respond to you.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes you have the danger. I've seen it. I've seen where children would literally not speak to people, walk past people, all of that, because mama, daddy, grandma, uncle, somebody had a whole narrative, a whole conversation about stuff they shouldn't have heard.
Yeah.
And so they don't know how to process it. So then when you don't know how to process, you kind of lock up or shut down or withdraw yourself, right? And oftentimes we're doing a disservice talking about adult business to our children or yet in front of our children when it is our job to cover, to protect them. You're not protecting them by putting your bitterness into them, putting and releasing your brokenness into them. So let's talk about that. When we have made our children our audience. My Jesus.
That's heavy.
That's so dangerous. I remember growing up, with my parents, we couldn't be in grown folks' conversations. They would make us go somewhere and sit down. And if we heard something and we repeated it, we would get in trouble. They would come and talk to us and tell us not to repeat it or, don't discuss it. They would explain things to us. Even though they explained this, being little, you still don't understand it. And you still form an opinion about that person you heard them talk about. So that's very dangerous for our children. They hear enough, they see enough. We don't need to, as parents, add to their little minds what's going on. We have to be very careful with our children. When we're discussing things that they shouldn't hear, they shouldn't even be nowhere in the vicinity of a room.
Yeah. I agree. Anybody else?
It just causes their brains is not even fully developed,
right?
And so it just causes a internal conflict. They already conflicted with growing and trying to navigate the world, trying to get their own sense of identity and where they fit in. And so when we have those kind of conversations or negative, it impacts them in a way that they can't comprehend. So then you'll start seeing behaviors. Wondering what's going on, these conversations. And it just causes an internal conflict. And from my own experiences, you can see, then people don't grow up. You don't become an adult and you manipulative. Right?
That's good.
You was a manipulative as a child, and it just cultivated, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew. It grows with you, right? And so that type of behavior, and you'll see kids being very manipulative, playing homes against homes, or, playing adults against adults, because they don't know how to handle this internal conflict,
right?
And then it turns into something else, and it's just way too much. So we have to not be careless in our conversations, and especially with children, because they're so impressionable like sponges, and they soaking everything up.
Right.
That's all. Like I said, those behaviors that you see in adult, like, dang, you've been lying. They was a lying kid. That behavior just wasn't redirected. You see the person is a narcissist or manipulative. They've been that way.
Right.
That behavior just was never redirected. So we can't be careless with our kids, with our conversations, and we got to do better. I'm all for the kids. Pass the baton. I ain't fooling with grown folks. My focus is always on the kids anyway. So I try to be very careful when children are around, because they're so impressionable.
That's something you said, they're lying, but they was pretty much always a liar.
Mhm.
They was a liar when they was a kid. That, but you know what? That's something to think, because a lying child turns into a lying adult.
Yeah.
But sometimes these are learned behaviors,
Yeah.
right? So I come from mama a liar,
Yeah.
then mama got a child that's a liar. That child have a child that's a liar. It just passes from generation, and we've all seen that. We've seen that literally that whole little train from mama to next to the parent to the next. No, this stuff is generational. This stuff is dysfunction, but again, this started when they were children, and it started from somewhere. Typically, what we see within children now is typically, or even adults, it is a thing that has started, or a trauma or something that started back in. And you know, I was thinking about the other day, because I read a post and I made a comment that I had to learn, being a pastor, that I can't take everything personal.
Right.
Reason I say that is because a lot of these traumas that they put on us as leaders were traumas from their childhood, right? They were rejected as a child, so they come in the first time the pastor say no, they feel rejected. Now I'm church hurt, or we will put these things off. But this stuff started with your mama. This stuff started with your daddy. This stuff started, back when you were in elementary school. A teacher, spoke negative to you, and it set up something in you. And now you've gone through your life now to an adult dysfunctional because somebody deposited something negative in your soul, right? And so ultimately, I think we got to be careful of these things that we say to children, as well as what we're saying in front of them. Stop talking about other adults. Stop talking about, I know, and I've talked to literally and I've counseled for years, and I've had to be the mediator and all of that, where adults would sit there and talk to their children about their love life, their relationships. You heartbroken by your boo, and you think it's okay to have that conversation with your child. No, because now they're processing things, and you so lost and crying and all of the rest, and you're releasing these spirits, you're releasing these emotions on somebody who ain't able to handle it, right? And then next thing you know, they have dysfunctional relationships, and so much comes toxicity, and all of that happens. It's passed on, and so we got to be very careful. Wrong audience. Wrong audience. What y'all got to say?
All of what y'all said too, and one thing I take away too is like children are a sponge, but they can't control what comes out and when it comes out. I've seen, and I got many stories, but there's one in particular, where I'll just say a friend, family friend or whatever, they came out and they were saying all these great things to their friend, oh, you're just so wonderful and you're just so great. You smell so good, and just, use an example, smell so good. And then the child's like, nah, but you said they stink. You said they had you said this, that, and the other. So they got what you said, but they can't control.
Go ahead.
They can't control what comes out when. So they identified already. Okay, you lying. You said this, but you don't realize that the child was watching you. They were listening to what you were saying.
I'm trying to tell you.
Now, with that, because I was going there too, you can make amends with people, but your children still won't process it the same.
No, they
because
won't.
again, their mind is not to the level of yours, so they might not understand reconciliation. They're looking at you like, "Well, I thought you just said they were horrible and blah 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 blah." And you handshaking and eating. What's going on here? So the thing is, when we're talking about, because I have a child that has heard lots of adult conversation, has been given lots of adult conversation, and you can see it in the way that she talks, the way that she behaves, and all of the rest. Because again, unable to process certain things. Now, some of these conversations you needed to know. However, your mind still can't process it all. So you're still displaying the level of, I don't understand. So this comes out in acting out or being and doing things to get attention or, you know, overexerting yourself and putting yourself in stuff that you don't need to be in. So ultimately, like you said, you got to shield yourself, the children, because ultimately it's poisonous. It can be very poisonous. Well, in some instances, I get it. You have to protect. You think you're doing a service, think you're protecting and just trying to let the family know what's going on. Because even amongst family, I've witnessed that as well, where cousins and children of the siblings of the adults, they have an issue, but now your cousins and all the rest now got an issue because the parents have an issue, and now there's disrespect coming from down here that doesn't have anything to do with the level above us. And so again, it's just the wrong audience. We shouldn't include our children, even teenagers.
They're not developed.
Even though you got an opinion, no, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when it comes to a generational thing, it's just not for you because our levels, our mentalities are different. What you just said, Pastor Moore, at the beginning of this conversation, where your parents made you get out the room, that is foreign to kids of today. Because they're always allowed to be around. They're always allowed to be a part. And we live in a society, in a world, I've worked in school systems forever, where you want your children to be expressive. Tell me how you feel. You want them to be emotionally aware. You want them to talk to you. You want them to be a part of these conversations. Again, not imparting enough in them. And then again, it depends on developmental stages of when they're ready for certain things. So
even with parents that are divorced or separated, you have to be careful at talking about that father or that mother to that child, because you're baiting, you're making them pick sides, and that's not good. That parent can be the worst parent in the world, but that's still mama or daddy.
That's right.
Hello.
You can't talk against them. Before my husband and I got back together the second time, I never talked about my husband, my children's father, even though I wanted to, but I didn't. You know, I didn't never talk about him in front of my children, because I always wanted my children to love their father. So when we did come back together, there wasn't a problem with their father and us coming together. They were happy. We were on one accord.
That's good.
And that's the way parenting should be when it comes with children, on divorce, separation, whatever.
That's right. Come on.
Now, I
love
experienced that firsthand. I tell my business, but I experienced that firsthand. And my parents you never heard anything bad, regardless of what they had going on. As all I know, this is my mother. Sorry, this is my father. Whatever they had going on, whether it worked or not, didn't have anything to do with that's my mother, that's my father.
Right.
So you could have been a horrible spouse, but a great parent.
Right.
It's still kind of separate in that aspect.
That's true.
Because their relationship didn't work. This one is still forever. You stuck with me, I'm stuck with you. So whatever we need to do to cultivate this and make this work, let's do that. Whatever y'all figure out is between y'all. So I experienced that firsthand. So that, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. How old were you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm old enough to know what was happening.
Okay.
But not old enough to be a part of those conversations. So,
I get you.
Because even people don't realize that even children, whether you're 4 or 5, I have a 4-year-old in my home now. He's aware of everything. He may not be able to articulate and comprehend everything that's happening, but children see.
Yes,
that's right.
You can't say, "Oh, you're just a child. You don't know what's happening." Yes, they do. They know something is happening. So you got to be mindful even what you're showing them too, because I've seen a lot too, things I shouldn't have seen, not necessarily from my parents, but just in the world.
Right.
You know, you can't. As much as we want to save our children from everything, we can't. You know, some things they're just gonna see, but we can do there's some things that they're not gonna see too, based on what we allow too much access to the world and all that. We control that too.
Your mother said 10 years old.
There you go.
You was 10 years old. I love it.
And then kids see and hear what you think they don't see and hear. They see a lot.
Oh, they definitely see.
Mhm.
They see, they hear, they feel,
Mhm.
all of that.
Yeah.
The kids they're trying to learn the world. And I told a friend of mine, I was so mad at him. I said, man, you're not giving her a chance, your daughter a chance. That's your experience. You mad. You know, she pissed you off. You know, her mama pissed you off. Then you trying to make her be mad at mama because what y'all got going on?
Right.
It's not right.
You taking her options and her chances away from. That's your point of view of your world.
Right.
Right.
Let her develop her own world and her sense of whatever's going on.
Right.
And you know, for me personally, mine was kind of like twofold because it was like half of the family would talk and then half of the other family. But my grandmother never said anything bad about my dad. She loved him. He's so gifted. He's talented. But in my head, I'm like, I hear this wonderfulness. But then on the other side, it's like, he's horrible. He's terrible. You know, so that conflict, you know, I didn't know where to lean. But I was able to just develop my own sense of what it was going to be eventually.
Right.
So we got to give children the opportunity to let them figure that out on their own. If somebody horrible, they're going to say it anyway.
I'm trying to tell you.
You know, give them the option to, you know, figure it out. Because they already trying to figure the world out.
Yes.
Already. It's
That's
a whole lot going on in children's minds. Yeah.
Are we saying okay? Because when it comes to that, speaking negatively about the other parent has the potential to backfire.
Yes.
Because ultimately, being in a circumstance where I had to make my daughter aware of certain things for the sake of safety, it can often come off as if I don't want you to have the relationship versus it is not safe for you to have the relationship. So protection and it just maybe seeming like I just can't have this relationship can be frustrating again to somebody that's really small.
Right.
So while I have never had to speak bad about them, just wasn't around, right? That's just what it was. However, as time progressed on and as she got older, and there was an trying to enter in, and then you display your same negative behaviors. Okay, at the end of the day, I have to protect me. I have to protect her.
Of
and
course.
so I want you to understand why. And trying to articulate that to a small person, like you said, I don't want to bash you, but I got to make it clear.
Right.
So that you don't look at me and say, oh, mommy is just trying to keep you away from my dad.
Right.
Or so that other people can't taint you to say your mom just didn't want you to be around.
You have to protect
because that's the
them
thing.
if
The
there's
other
a
side of the
problem.
family gonna say, well, this is what it is. Blah, 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 blah. No. Asia don't care, baby. Like you said, you can't never sit with me again. That's just what it is. However, I want you to understand and try to understand and process that, you know, I want you to get older and you're going to develop, you're going to want to know all the rest because I don't know what it's like to not have my father present, right? I can't identify with you in that sense. Right. However, I want you to understand that you're going to be able to see and discern and decipher as you get older. But we never set up, I'm not sitting up telling you that, he's this and he's that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And there was horrific things that happened. I didn't want to. I'm going to be honest. My apostle said you're going to have to because of the severity of the issue.
When it comes to protecting, you have to protect your child. You have to at every cost. You have to sit them down, talk to them, and to get them to understand. And you have to ask them questions. Do you understand what I'm saying? To hear their feedback. Because a lot of times we talk to the children and we don't allow them to talk to us. We need to hear what they're thinking, hear what they're saying in order to make them understand better. But of course, you have to protect your child.
Absolutely.
My Jesus. My Jesus.
Filtering them conversations for the kids is a must. Yeah, I think it's just appropriate. Use wisdom because, like I said, you can. Us as adults, we now have the ability, and some of us still have issues with problem solving and all the rest. But our capacity is a little bit different to where we can move on from the thing that your children might not.
Right.
We can, whatever, sweep that, dust that, and be moved on. Whereas it's really imprinted on the child now, and they're affected. So we got to be mindful that all that stuff's not gonna be simple. It's not gonna be an easy sweep for a kid who feels like my parents been hurt by this person.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have to be fit. They have to feel that they can talk to a parent too.
Absolutely.
Because some children don't even want to talk to their mother or father.
Yeah.
They have to be able to open up. Not that the parent is their friend, but they should be able to come and talk to mom and dad about anything.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I've seen too? Even having seen your parents in such a state to where they're not necessarily abusive to you, but they're just so in a place emotionally, maybe even in depression, to where it's like, I see this, I'm experiencing this parent, but I don't want to have that conversation because I don't want to put more on you.
Yeah.
Like, you already got what you're going on. We didn't have a conversation, but I seen it now.
Sure.
So I don't want to put more on what you got going on and make the whole situation worse just because I said something based on what I seen, what I felt, what I experienced from a parent, family member, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's tough.
So let's talk about the when you are desperate for an audience. And when you're desperate for an audience, most times you end up talking
Too much.
venting, exposing too much to the wrong audience. And then you think people are laughing with you when they're really laughing at you. So let's talk about that. Because oftentimes, well, I mean, we see it very often now. I think this social media has been a blessing and a curse, right? Because all you got to do is push a button that says go live. And when you go live, you make the world your audience. But what happens when the world has become the wrong audience? You made the world your audience, and that was the wrong audience. That's not who you should have been venting to. That's not who you should have been talking to.
Right.
You should have actually gotten into your secret place and released your heart there, right? So when I thought of this, right, I thought of, and I could say this, bringing Trinetta because she has wisdom. There's times I post and I'll share it, and she'll send a message and say, take that down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it can be the wrong audience.
Yeah.
She didn't talk about me. She didn't, create her own side audience.
Right.
But when a person wants to make sure that you remain integral and in good character, godly character, sometimes, even if it's not about a thing,
Right.
however, you don't even want your good to be even spoken of, right?
Because people will make it a thing.
Because people will make it a thing.
Wrong audience.
And so there is, what I'm saying is you need somebody that'll love you enough,
Right.
that will help save you from you.
Yeah.
Love you enough to say, you know what? I get what you saying. It's valid. However, wrong audience.
Yeah.
So what happens because that's what I say with people, when people really love you and they want to see you do well, that's what they'll do for you.
Right.
And the stubborn part of me didn't want to. I'm gonna be very accountable and transparent, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to release it out of you. But in releasing it out of you, don't mean it has to show up here.
Right.
True.
Right.
So some of y'all that's watching need somebody that will care for you enough to tell you, shut that live off. Erase that post.
Take it off.
You know what I'm saying? Stop talking through people. Stop with the back scene and all of the rest. Who loves you enough to say, shut up? Who loves you enough to say, stop? Who loves you enough to say, enough is enough? Like at the end of the day, be done.
Yeah.
So what happens when you make social media your audience, but social media is really your enemy? Because y'all already know with this cancel culture, with people, they monitor you just to be able to attack what you say, right? And so at the end of the day, wrong audience. Stop. Stop. I find it, if you got to sit there and you got to keep doing and talking and posting and going live and venting and all of the rest, there's some guilt there. Now, sometimes it's authentic, right? But oftentimes there's some guilt there. Stop, look, and people who follow you would know that come on. Because this is the thing. Your character is your character. Right? And the real people know the real you. So what happens in social media land when we have created an audience because we're desperate for an audience? We're desperate. Some people get on live and they want to just talk because they need somebody to amen them.
That's what it is.
You know you moved wrong. You know you've said something that shouldn't have been said. You know you've done something that shouldn't have been done. And so now I need somebody that can amen me because truth be told, I'm tormented and I'm battling in the back of my mind, my decision, my movement, my conversation. So I'm battling in the back of my mind and I'm desperate for an audience. So now I got to press that button that says live and give a narrative so you can agree with me and now I can sleep tonight. Because I've been tormented all day, been tormented all week, been tormented all month, been tormented for the last few months, a year. I've been tormented. So now I got to come on and get me an audience because I need to come out of this place of torment. I need somebody that will say, you're right in the comment. I need somebody that will agree with me in the comment. I need somebody that will feel like I feel, see what I see, hear what I hear. And so we search out of desperation. We search for the wrong thing and we end up finding ourselves getting an audience, creating an audience that is not healthy for us. The dangers of the social media audience.
My God.
Talk to me.
I think even too.
What did I say? Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Praise God.
I think even too, sometimes those who are tormented, once they've gone live, that's you've been tormented. But you don't go live when you're the tormentor. When you're the one that's causing the hell and stuff like that, and then when things backfire,
you ain't gonna tell no
now I'm the victim. Now I'm my side and all that, but you caused the thing in the first place. Once you get the response to that, now everybody needs to see what this person did, what they said, how they moved, but you created the whole thing.
Right.
You don't go live at that point because you don't want to be accountable. You don't want everybody to see the hell that you didn't cause. But now it's backfiring. I got to be accountable. All that. No, go live from the beginning. Start at the beginning when you or just shut up. Just.
So what about when you have chosen social media to be your audience and it actually is the wrong audience? Who are you trying to prove a thing to when you should have not said anything?
Seeking validation from the social media world is absolutely insane. These people, fine, you got some followers that you may know that may care, but ultimately a lot of people don't, and they're more interested in the fact that you got drama going on versus actually debating about whether who's right or who's wrong. I think that, like you said, people are just interested in somebody amen in their woe versus actually being accountable, repenting, and being done. Like, we do all of this feeding to the media a narrative. But one thing I have learned twice now is that I don't have to go tell my story. Like, at the end of the day,
come on,
you gonna get yours, And what God's gonna do for me, He's gonna do for me. But I don't gotta go tell my story. I don't have to make you look bad. You already look sad.
Come
I don't have to
on.
make you do anything. I don't have to go tell it to the mountaintop about what you did, how you did it, who you did it with. I don't even have to do that because ultimately, all the people you're going to run and telling this social media world, because you got to make up the narrative, you're going to catch yourself up eventually anyway and start looking.
The more you talk,
you give up too many details that ain't adding up. The people like the math is not math. And so, ultimately.
And social media will do it.
Social media will do that. And that's what I stand by it. Whoever disconnect from me, you gonna ever hear me talking about them. If I disconnect from you, I don't gotta talk about you. I don't have to tell the people going live and tell a story. I had it happen to me twice where the folks went on live and told their story. Okay, and they told it real well out in the streets and everything. But it was like you're trying to paint a narrative of me. Why? When you did the doing. You were the issue. You were the cause, the problem, and all the rest to the disconnect.
Right.
There was a decision made here, and you decided that you want to go on to make me look like the bad person, right? But then you see a couple months later now, everybody now initially social media is in an uproar. They're like, oh my God, they are feeding it. Oh, it's real good to them, right? And then eventually you start to see, well, dang, this pattern is happening again and again with this person. Because then they do it again. They show up as themselves again. And so it's like, maybe it wasn't them. I think it was just you. You got issues. So people, again, they show themselves. This stuff repeats itself. So you come from one place and go to another.
You just said something. You said the pattern. You know,
They got one.
so typically the behaviors, the conversation, all the rest has a pattern. You would think that people would stop being in the audience when you realize the pattern of people. I'm no longer a part of your audience because you have a pattern. Meaning, what you're saying now, you said before about somebody different. How you move now is how you move before with somebody. I think the audience needs to have a level of accountability and remove themselves out of the seat of the audience because of the pattern.
But you got to realize the audience that you have, the majority of them are like you.
Oh, yeah.
So the majority of the audience, they're not going to move themselves because social media they're seekers.
Come on.
They're seeking to hear or see the drama. They're seeking to hear the live. They're seeking to see the post. They're seeking to comment. So those that really don't want to be on there, yes, they're going to remove themselves. But the majority of them are going to stay right there because they want to see and they want to hear.
Yeah. They want to be a part of the audience.
Yes.
Because some people are an audience of one. Some people have an audience of 10. But ultimately, like you said, that your audience is based upon who you are. Because what you're connected to reflects who you are.
Yeah.
So think about it. We talked about in past shows, we talked about trauma bonding, right? Audiences that come together in a trauma bond because you have the same trauma. So you're bonded by the same issue, by the same role. You're bonded through feeling as if you've been victimized. So now I'm a part of your audience. I am supporting and pushing your drama because I'm broken and bitter just like you're broken and bitter. And I feel that I need to be an advocate for the broken and bitter. And so your audience typically does. It mirrors you. It reflects who
And
you
then
are.
those people that's mirroring you, they run around and talk about you.
That's
what
true.
you said.
That's true. They repeat what you said because often, look, I'm trying to tell you, but let me tell you, the statement is that all vents go into other rooms.
Yeah.
And so you know you got the wrong audience when what you're saying is repeated in other rooms.
Yeah.
And so typically we have to come to social media to try to get support or to clear up the stuff that got out in other rooms. So we got to be careful. Wrong audience.
And then you wondering how it got out, what you said when it's right in your room.
I'm trying to tell you.
But you know it sometimes too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But I was saying, but you know too, even when you said something that got out, a lot of times you know what's in your circle too.
I'm trying
You
to
know
tell
this
you.
person is gonna say that, and some people, because it's that audience, that's why they said it to that person. Some things you want to get out,
Yeah.
whether it's social media or not. I know if I tell this person, they're gonna tell this
they gonna
person,
get the
and
message
it's gonna get
over
the
there.
message. Yeah, so
Help, Lord. Help us, Jesus. So what was you gonna say?
You know, this is chaos culture.
Mm.
So a lot of people don't know they only know how to thrive
In chaos.
chaos.
Now that is true.
That's
And when it's clear and clean and pure and all of that, that's difficult for some people. Born, you know,
Right.
you need a little chaos
Chaos culture.
Wow.
to thrive in, and that keeps the adrenaline going. You know, drama. You know, get caught up in that. And what I found that most people that talk or run their mouth, say too much, say the wrong things, just running their mouth, they want to fit in.
Yeah.
They just want to find somewhere to fit in, you know, and they'll say anything just to fit in and be a part of a community or the wrong audience or whatever the case may be. So, you know, when I'm dealing with people, I don't fool with people. I do know that, right?
Yeah.
I don't fool with people because I just don't have time. You know, not at my age. That's over with, you know, and I just can't thrive in chaos and drama. I just can't. I can't afford to be connected to people that's not gonna hold me accountable.
That's true.
That's not gonna pull my coattail and say, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, I can't, but you know, that just shows you where people, you know, just where they are and how they move and groove. And if they go somewhere else, they go here or there, they gonna show up.
That's true.
They gonna show up.
You follow you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So oftentimes you find, I like what you said though, that chaos culture, because that is, I'm telling you, that's true. That people love chaos.
Yes.
They love drama. They love mess. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be careful of the ones that I come in the name of love, or I am peaceful. You know, I just love all people. You got to pay attention. See, that's the problem. Folk ain't got no discernment. You got to be very, very careful, because typically the one that say I come in love is the one that's spewing hate. The one that says I come in peace, they're coming in peace after they've been the snake in the thing, right? So now they throw the rocks and they hide their hands, right? And so now I want to look like I'm being victimized. I want to look like I'm being attacked when behind the scenes I've done the attacking, right? And so ultimately you got to be very, very careful, because people are psycho. People are psycho. People are psycho. And you can tell how crazy people are depending upon who they make their audience.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I keep hearing, and I hear you say this very often, Trinetta, that you say, I don't have time, right? And I hear you say that a lot. I don't have time. And as you say it, I think successful people don't have time. Let me tell you, at the end of the day, the difference with me and somebody else typically is this. If I spend an hour venting on social media, guess what's still happening? I'm making money. You on there for an hour, you ain't making nothing. You already broke, busted, disgusted, ashy, and everything else. And you're wasting time, because you can actually be somewhere producing, being productive, making money, building. Hey, create a college fund for your kids. Do something with your time other than sitting and talking to the wrong audience. No matter, I'm in my sleep making money. So at the end of the day, we are not the same. And people will sit on social media and they will literally have a wrong audience. And you get off of social media and still got to scratch your head how you going to pay your light bill. No, you should be somewhere working, processing, trying to do a thing to pay your light bill, your gas bill. You're wasting time. You're wasting time. Broke, busted, disgusted, unsatisfied with yourself. You are wasting time. Create something, be something, and don't work so hard to prove that you got joy, that you got peace, that you're happy, and all the rest. Stop the narrative. Stop foolery, because ultimately you choose. We can see how broken people are based upon who their audience is. You can see again what people, they have made these things. They are addicted to an amen. They are addicted to somebody agreeing and supporting and running with a narrative. And so now, think about how crazy this is. Think about how, no, I ain't gonna say it. Come on. See what the Holy Ghost do. I ain't even gonna say it. Go ahead. Y'all help me. Help me before I mess up.
I mean, but the point is, like you said, people who are about something other than the drama don't have time to sit on here and talk about their woes. Don't have time to sit on here and look for people to validate them. It's not necessary. I think ultimately, if people would get off social media and deal with their issues versus looking for someone, like you said, to amen their dysfunction, then they could get to a place of actually doing something other than being broken and bitter and busted and disgusted. But we want to take that time, instead of being accountable, looking at, you don't have people around you, right? You don't have the accountable people around you that's going to tell you, hey, that's not right, right? Hey, you shouldn't do this or that. And so then it becomes, all right, well, when do I get wisdom and say this cycle is psychotic? When do I get to a place where this can't be all that I'm gonna be doing, right? I shouldn't have to do this all over and over and over. At some point, there's got to be a click up here that says this is not worth it, right? Where do I go from here? How you gonna get any type of healing? How you gonna be successful? How are you even going to be in joy like you're pretending to be if you have not yet dealt with you and your issue? You get off of social media and go talk to the Lord. Get off social media and go write in the journal. Get off social media and go tell the person that you're sorry. How about that? Go tell the person that you're sorry. Like tell the person who you trying to prove it to that you're sorry.
Because they don't realize something wrong. Because they don't realize something is wrong. Until you realize something is wrong with you,
it's gonna be forever wrong.
You just gonna be in that chaos, in that culture. You have to admit, hey, something wrong with me. Something going on.
Because something is wrong. Something is wrong. And again, when you think about, I'm sleepy, y'all. But when you think about the audiences, right? Because you can't always, because sometimes the audience is as worse as the presenter.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so again, it goes back to what I was saying, when who loves you enough to hold you accountable? Who loves you enough to say, nah, this ain't it. But when you got mama, daddy, auntie, grandma, everybody is backing your foolery,
pushing
you don't think that it's wrong. But somebody needs to love you enough to say, you wrong, mama wrong, daddy wrong, cousin wrong, nephew wrong. Somebody's gonna love you to tell you, shut up. Stop. Wrong audience. The reason why some people have to talk so much in the presence of people is because I can't go to God with the lie.
Help. Well, now.
So I gotta have a public audience because it's easier to fool you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go and pray about it because what I'm deeming to be true is untrue. So I can't go to God, the one who is all knowing. I can't go to him and talk. You know how people say, well, pray about it. Folks ain't gonna go to God with foolery because he already knows.
Yeah.
So now I need to go to somebody that I feel I can fool. Somebody that I can deceive. And people don't. Yeah. Fool the fool. Yeah. But ultimately,
your dysfunction.
That's what I'm saying. And so a lot of times we choose the wrong audience or the audience that we choose because, again, they embrace our dysfunction. Because, again, I can't go to my secret place.
Yeah.
Because really, it's no secret that I'm a liar. It's no secret that I'm a deceiver. It's no secret that I'm broken, bitter, and no secret that what I give as a narrative is really not a narrative. Right? So I can fool people who act holy, but I can't fool a holy God.
Right.
So I'd rather have an audience with you, even if it's an audience with one, because I can't have an audience with God on lies.
That's tough.
Nope, wrong audience. It's a wrong audience. Trying to tell you.
But I think about even too, because I've seen so many times somebody go live, right? And you have everybody in the comments talking crazy, and you got that 1 or 2, 3 people, get off of here.
Yeah.
Take this down. You know better than that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those are the people they should be listening to. And they know better.
Yeah.
That's why they're not talking to them. They'll ignore every of one of those comments.
Yeah.
All 100 other ones. What you say, commenting on all that. See that, scroll right over that and go to the next.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're doing. You know what audience you're trying to create. And then you have those like me. I'll call you. You on live? Okay. Well, first of all, I don't have those type of people because we ain't doing that.
Right.
But we just don't. But I've seen even, to the point where people calling, steady interrupting the lives because you know better than this. Get off of here. So then you have somebody steady call and to interrupt and stuff like that too. So yeah. And I thought about too what you say. I'm just going back. Those who come in the name, I come in peace, I come in love, I come in grace. What eagle have you seen say, I soar? They just do it. Come on. Who you are, you're just going to do it.
Right.
I'm going to see it regardless. So if you are a liar, if you need the attention, all that, I'm going to see it because you're just going to do it. So,
and if you come in love, you don't have to announce it.
You don't have to. Right.
Literally, it will show. People have this.
Even if it's harsh.
Yeah. People will definitely show you who they are through what they present and the audience that they have. And so we got to oftentimes, I like what, who was it? I think I lost it. Hold on. I got to find it. Okay. That was Rachel. She said, well, when you're delusional, you don't think anything is wrong with what you're doing or saying.
Yeah.
When you're delusional, you don't think there's nothing wrong to how you move. How you move is typical and normal. What you say is typical and normal. I'll use, for example, I was just sharing, I won't go deep into it, but I was just sharing how that I had to realize my mistakes in a particular narrative because what has happened to me happened to somebody else. I allowed people to give me their narrative. And it made me look at a person different until the same people disconnected from me and gave a narrative of me. I had to think back. This happened before.
Right.
And I was careless because I believed what was said about the previous person and ran with it instead of trying the spirit. Apologizing to myself.
Yes.
Right? Didn't we talk about that?
Yes.
Apologize, acknowledging that the same thing is happening again. And guess what happens? After me, somebody else is going to experience that same thing. Because that person who experienced it 3-4 years ago, I was like, man, that's crazy. Now that I'm experiencing the same thing, it's like, how dare you believe a narrative and you didn't try the spirit? You took a word over trying the spirit. And oftentimes we can be so blinded by the presenters that we'll take a word and not acknowledge the spirit. So we got to be very careful in paying attention and listening to the delusional. You know, what did Rachel say? The audience keeps it going because you're entertaining it. If you don't have an audience, maybe they'll stop. That's true. That's true. But some people will keep going until they get an audience.
Yeah, they sure will.
Have you ever seen somebody go live and nobody's on there and they'll say, I ain't gonna worry about nobody's here, but you just watch the replay? But they'll still present. They'll still talk with nobody on it. Not one soul. They'll still present, still talk, and they'll just say, just watch the replay. Because their hopes is I'll eventually get an audience. And so people will still talk because they want an audience. They want an audience. So what happened? What I'm missing?
Nothing.
But even that's twofold too, because let's say you get on there doing something positive, right? And nobody's on your live.
Oh my God.
You still gonna say what you gotta say. If that's what you just have to do.
That's right.
But you know your audience. So you know my audience, they gonna watch later. Maybe they work late, you know, all that. They gonna watch it when they get off. Well, if you on the other end of that audience, you know your audience even still. I know once they see it, they're gonna take it, they're gonna run with it, they're gonna screenshot, they're gonna share all of that stuff too. So either way, you know your audience. You know, you know your people. So
that's true. That's very true. So sometimes it's mastering. Some people master marketing. And so pretty much what they do is they don't care if you see it or not now. Somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to tell it. Somebody's going to relay the message. But isn't that toxic?
Very. Rachel said weirdos.
What are people going to do when it's shut down?
Okay. Come on.
And so my problem is with us is I'm so big on community. And I feel so sorry for these people that's cut up like this. I really do. It's heartbreaking because you got to grow with that. And can you imagine being 50, 60, 70, 80 years old?
Come on.
Some are that age. And messy.
I couldn't imagine. You know, man, just being stuck and in that place. I couldn't imagine, and I really feel so sorry for these people that's moving and grooving this way. And man, that's why it's so important to just cultivate healthy community. And when I mean community, I mean like your core group of people. You know what I'm saying? Just your core group of people gonna pretty much have similar core values and stuff like that. So I wonder what's gonna happen when this type of stuff is non-existent. Then
people don't know what to do with themselves.
Well, then what?
Because without the chaos culture, they don't know where to go, what to do, because they have nothing productive outside of foolery. So, like you just said, could you imagine being 60, 70 and still, can you imagine being 70, 75, 72, 73, 74, 80 and still in drama?
That's what I'm saying.
You are literally, you got about 3 toes in the grave on each foot.
On each foot is crazy.
That's why I say I'm living to live right now.
Like literally
to live. I'll be 66.
Go ahead.
I'm living to live.
And ain't got time for the extras. You don't need it all.
I'm living in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, each day I take it seriously. I don't have time for the foolishness. I don't. The drama, I don't. I went on a vacation. I saw some stuff even within my family, and I pulled one to the side. We don't have to talk to people with groups of people.
Yeah.
I pulled the person to the side and talked to him. You such and such a year older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
Yeah.
We should be living to live to see Christ.
And so what you had was an audience of one.
Yeah.
And it was effective.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's talk about that too. But before I say, because see, let me say this. Sometimes an audience of one is all you need.
Yes.
But how about that one being the person?
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
That's what I'm saying.
That way,
Go say
but let's be truthful. You can't sit in the person's face with the lie you've been given to the world.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
too many lives.
Right.
So you can't sit. Let's say we had an issue, right? You couldn't, or I couldn't sit in your face and lie to your. I'm some kind of psycho.
Hell.
But people do it.
But people do.
Real.
But they psycho.
Mhm.
Because how do you believe your lie so much that you could sit in the face of the person and give them a lie about them?
About them.
It's psycho, right?
Yeah.
But what I've learned, I can only talk about me, as I often say. People can't sit in my face and do that. People don't do that. People don't do that. That's why when people disconnect from me, 9 times out of 10, they don't have a conversation with me. Most times can't even sit in my presence. They got to be cowards and speak through people. They got to speak through paper. They got to write it. Most times people can't even sit in my presence. I had a person who burned me, still burning me, that sat in the room at the table in my room in front of, I think it was a group of students, and said, I don't understand how people can do you this way. Because if let's just say if I did something like that, I would never be able to look at you. A month later,
Did that.
they did just that and couldn't come in the room. They had to send somebody in the room.
Chaos culture.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People, they pick and choose. They pick and choose who they want to have an audience with.
Yeah.
But you can't come with the real and be phony. You're gonna be uncomfortable
Because people don't want to communicate. They don't want to. They don't want to be truthful.
But it's what I saw with Pastor Yolanda. She said oftentimes people would give a false narrative to gain attention and sympathy. So I'm not going to give a false narrative to the person.
Right.
I'm going to give it to an audience because I need you to feel sorry for me.
Need some backup.
I need some backup. I need to get some attention. First of all, if people looked in the mirror, they wouldn't want no attention. Some people would stop doing videos and do audio if they knew.
Yeah.
Lord forgive me. See.
It's probably gonna be.
I'm just trying to tell you. You know, if people like, come on. Come on. Stop. Rachel says, I do not feel sorry because some people know better. Now, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Some people know better. Now they let their master use them. That's all, carrying out their demonic assignment. And that's so true. It is evident who you work for, depending on what you talk about. Depending on what is coming out of your mouth, how you process, how you move, we know who your master is. Help Jesus. Pastor Yolanda says some people live to be stuck and messy. Stuck. They in it.
That's sad. It is. Yes, I feel sorry for them. Because you're robbing yourself of a good quality of life. Like, that has to be lonely. No, it really does. It has to be really lonely. Because I'm sure there's so many masks on top of that.
There he is.
Who gets to really know who you are?
That's true.
When you living behind, that's lonely.
Yeah.
That has to be lonely.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty sad.
But that that is lonely. And this is why oftentimes people have to be fake in connections and relationships, right? And it's horrible to want an audience but can't remember your lies. Can you imagine how many stories have been given and people sometimes are too dumb to recognize? Now I heard something different last week. Now you told me something different 6 months ago.
Right.
Who is your audience? Stop. Because your audience, some of your audience ain't dumb. Some of them are hearing, and there's literally, and anybody who has sat with me, if you've heard a narrative about a thing, you know it ain't changed. I can still give you the exact points. Exactly. When a person got to keep switching and changing because they can't remember their lies and they can't remember their narrative. But again, somebody has said something on the notes of, who was that? Hold on. You know, I'm getting a little older. Hold on. I got to see if I can find it. I can't find it. I don't know if it was here though. It might not have been here. You know, a lot of people talks to me. But it was something on the nature of how people will oftentimes find themselves giving you a narrative, switching up a narrative, giving somebody else a different narrative, switching up that one, giving somebody else another narrative. But all 3 or 4 people heard different narratives, but will ultimately see the same thing because they are blinded by foolery. Or they are blinded because the way they see maybe the mutual person is the way they wanted to see them all along. Right. And so now I can know that you lie. But because I don't like that individual, I'll stay in your seat of your audience because I don't like them. I know you're a liar. In the back of my head, they lying. But I'll still accept it because I want to be a part of this audience because really I'm nothing without it, without this collaboration or connection. You know, or chaos, right? So you got to be careful because a lot of people, again, bond off of this.
They do.
Wrong audience. Again, though, people can't go to God when it's a lie. So oftentimes we go to other avenues because it's easier to fool people, and it's really easier to fool people who ain't got God or the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
I will say this. Let me tell you. There was some folk I thought lived next door to Jesus. Because I just knew that they had a relationship with Jesus. But I saw them get sucked into stuff and be fooled. We know we're in the last days. When the very elect will be deceived.
Jesus done moved.
Jesus moved.
He done moved.
Either he moved or they moved.
They moved.
Help, Lord.
So, y'all talk to me and we gonna wrap it up. This has been good. It's been a lot unpacked, right? It's been a lot. I like this. Rachel said collaborative chaos.
A group, a team.
my Jesus.
Because I even think about what you said with so many masks. After a while, you forget who you are.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you look like under that mask.
You don't even know you wrong.
Right.
Well, under that mask, if they were to take all of the makeup off, they'll scare you.
They're scared them.
They're scared themselves.
Keep it on.
Got all these masks. No, because some people are real oogly without makeup on. Without makeup, they ain't ugly, they oogly.
Thank God I'm pretty.
Amen. Some people don't need it. Some people it enhances, but some people it transforms. Okay?
It's a big hip. A big hip.
Y'all ain't ready here.
Jason Dorsett is scare you.
I'm trying to tell you, Justin. They will scare you. They ugly. They ugly for real, ugly.
Outside
and they exactly. And so they do. They get to a point where they're wearing masks and they're comfortable wearing these masks, and ultimately their goal is that everybody around them will wear a mask.
Yeah.
Masquerade.
Be careful, because trust me, people don't like free people.
They don't.
If I'm bound, come on. If I'm bound, I don't want to see everybody. I feel a way if everybody else is free. So I want to see you. I want to see you bound too.
Right.
So I want you. I'm wearing a mask. You put a mask on. Don't you be free, because then you make me stand out. You be free when I'm dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Then they
true.
looking
If you
free for you to put a mask on. They'll find something on you.
Put that mask on.
Yep.
Cover your face. Be ashamed of you, because I'm ashamed of me.
Yep.
Woo.
True.
So oftentimes people will expect you to look like them, be like them, walk like them, talk like them. And when you make up your mind that I don't want to deal with the dysfunction, then they no longer want to deal with you.
Freedom intimidates the bound. Go ahead on.
Who is that? What's happening? Justin Butch, man of God. He says freedom intimidates the bound. It's the truth.
Yes.
It intimidates the bound. People.
It keeps you dependent. When I was telling my brother when he was going through a situation, I said, these people want to see you right where you are.
Right.
And the reason they want you there, because there's a codependency there.
Yeah.
Just as much as you dependent on them, they're dependent on you just that much. But you don't know that.
Right.
Because of where you are.
Right.
But when you get yourself together, you will see, and you will never even be bothered with these people ever
That's
again.
true.
And people want you to be bound because there's a codependency there. They feeding off of you. So
what happens? What happens in this scenario where, let's say, you've let go of people, but they won't let go of you? But it was their choice to let go. How do you handle those kind of people? Their choice to let go, but they still got a connection. They keep holding instead of letting it go. So, and moving around, you got to keep reaching back. Do you think that's somebody who's not satisfied with their decision? Some guilt there?
yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
If your mind still goes back to people, if you are constantly reaching back to people who ain't reaching toward you, that's some guilt there.
Where they want some.
Or maybe they have no relevancy without you.
Oh, that's the one he went for. Right.
Look, I'm still keeping folks relevant.
Yeah.
But
Gotta let them go.
Let me say this though. Let me say this. Come on, Justin, preacher. He said addicted to Egypt. Come on.
Yeah.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Can't get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Because you're addicted to the place of bondage.
Still in Egypt. Come on.
Still a bound people, a people in captivity. And when you don't see freedom, you don't understand what freedom is.
You don't even know what it looked like.
Don't know ain't got a glimpse of it. Because truthfully, let's be honest. If you got a glimpse of a thing, it thrusts you, propels you, it makes you want to go after, right? When you see better, you go for better. But when all you see is captivity and bondage, lack, and bitterness and brokenness and regret, you're gonna always reach to the thing that makes you comfortable.
Yes.
And so oftentimes we make these, I like that, Rachel. She said, make emotional decisions and live in regret.
Yeah.
and not humble enough to repent and say I moved wrong.
Yeah.
So we got to try to torment other people instead of letting it go. My God.
Oh, and let God be free.
No.
Yeah.
So let's. I like it. My mama say, I hope they realize all what's under the mask. Uncover your deceitfulness, jealousy, guilt, lies, etc., 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 etc. You gotta definitely. Rachel, I love it, but too proud to apologize. Talk too much, you can't even make amends and move on. Now, I had a situation where somebody reached out to me to sit down with some people, right? And I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. One, because I'm not about to sit in private when you've lied in public. No, you want me to sit so you can apologize to get this torment off of you. I ain't helping you.
Go home and apologize.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go look. You like to go live? Go live.
Use that platform
and apologize.
Use your audience.
If you go public with lies, go public with an apology.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, God knows all things, and people will literally. I'm like, I can't do that. I know what you're trying to do, trying to, be the middle person, the person of peace and all the rest. But have y'all ever got to a place where you say, I'm not about to let people keep playing in my face? You know what I'm saying? You disrespect me in public, but you want to apologize about the disrespect in private. No. When we stand up and say, I'm not doing this no more, when you gonna come and do what you do publicly but want to get it right in private? We're not doing that.
I remember back in the day when you wanted to repent, you had to come in front of the church.
My G. Oh, don't take me. Oh, please don't take me back. Don't take me back, because Lord knows that was the ways of the old. I'm telling you, you would get rebuked and come up there and have to apologize to the church.
And they would decipher whether you were feeling that thing. You really feeling it? You really repent? You really sorry?
They said that ain't real.
There you go.
Come back next week.
There you go.
But that ain't real.
We don't do that today. We don't open up the altar and say, come to the altar. You need to repent. You need to get before the Lord. We don't do that anymore.
There you go. Man of God, Justin Dorch said, I'm in that season now. No closet apologies. That's where I am. Ain't no closet. So move on and deal with and keep telling yourself a narrative to make yourself feel good. But ain't no private apologies. You're not doing it. It's impossible for you to sit here and apologize to me in private when you caused hell in public.
Because if you do, if you apologize to me in private, why are you apologizing to me in private? You want to keep it going?
Yeah. That's why, you know what I do? I don't even, you know how I know people who are part of mess and they don't want to look like they are. I don't respond. I had people who reached out to me and said Happy Father's Day in my inbox. I had people who told me Happy New Year in my inbox. And I know that they are drama. No, you can't put it on my page
like everybody
because of what you said. So you can't. So now to try to think you're gonna fool me? No, I know you miserable too. You know what I'm saying? So stay out my inbox. I don't acknowledge it. I don't respond. We're not doing that. Stay out my inbox. We are not friends
at all.
We're not friends. So stay out of my inbox. Ain't no secret conversation. We ain't doing that. Don't text me. You on social media and you gonna text me a thing. No, why you can't publicly say this? Why you can't celebrate me publicly? Why you can't acknowledge me publicly? Because you made an audience out of the public for your negativity, but want to privately celebrate me. Nah, miss me with all of it.
You know what you said.
You said what you said.
I like what you said, did what you did.
My God.
All right now. That's how we're What is happening?
My 10:30 bedtime reminder just came across.
It is late.
It is.
You are out of order.
Which one you right?
Which when you right?
Look, I ain't had a full night's sleep in 3 nights. I've been busy. I do. I got a long day tomorrow. But so literally, I am operate
Remind.
TYB. She is a mess. We going to bed. Hold on. I like this. There you go, Rachel. Stay off my apostles page. Oh, these ninjas. I'm trying to tell you, they be all up in my inbox. Trying to apologize and trying to celebrate me and all of the rest of the stuff. You know,
Don't hit your button.
Man of God, yeah, I'm trying to. What did I say?
Feeling about this.
Me too.
Bad feeling about this.
Hey, what happened?
Oh Lord.
Let's go.
Oh Jesus. We want to go to sleep tonight. We don't want to hear that.
And it's long too.
I'm like, that was a
It's
long
one
one.
Okay.
I like it.
Apostle Timothy MacArthur Jones Sr.
Man of God. Come on back to the table. All right, this is the great podcast.
It's the Graceful Live podcast. We have enjoyed ourselves.
Oh Lord.
Quad.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
Oh, I know I had a nope. Nope. We're not gonna do it. Nope. I'm gonna stop lying. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I love it. We thank God. We thank God for His goodness and His mercy. You have joined the live podcast of the Graceful Exchange. We're so grateful to have you join us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the conversation.
All that.
What was the last part?
Wrong audience.
Wrong audience. You have the wrong audience. Stop talking too much in front of your kids because it's gonna show.
Please.
Stop talking too much. Stop being desperate for an audience that you're willing to settle for anything just for attention.
Yes.
Right? Make sure that again, if you're gonna have an audience, honor your audience with the truth.
Yes.
Stop making a fool out of your audience. Stop letting people talk about your stuff. Or in other words, stop using people to talk about your stuff. Because you know some people are cowards and they'll talk through people. So be very, very careful. Don't let nobody use you. You know, it's like you see somebody go viral. Now I want to talk through the person who went viral because I want to get their audience. Grow up. That's so you using people, you know, to get your negative message out. Stop using people to get your negative works. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. So we're grateful to all of you that have joined. I'm telling you, we had a good time tonight.
Yes.
Yep. God bless you all. Thank y'all for joining. Again, grateful for Asia Sade.
Good night, y'all.
Tony.
Good night.
Mama Mo.
Good night, everyone.
And the one and only TYB.
Good night.
All right. I'm Dr. T.M. Jones Sr. And I have enjoyed you all. Oh, look at that. The Prophet Rodnisha Anderson. Good night. Good night. So glad to have you join us. All right. Good night to all of you. Thank you so much. Let's make sure that we enjoy each other, celebrate relationships, celebrate the right audience, a corrective audience, an audience that'll love you enough to get you back in order. All right. So again, pay attention when it's the wrong audience. Don't talk to your children about adult situations. All right. Don't put that on them. They're not ready for it. All right. So, God bless you. Have a good night. It's
Good
the Graceful
night.
Exchange.
The graceful exchange, uniting minds. The graceful exchange, embracing diversity. The graceful exchange, honoring God. The graceful exchange, where wisdom meets harmony in every conversation. The graceful exchange, uniting minds. The graceful exchange, embracing diversity. The graceful exchange, honoring God. The graceful exchange, where wisdom meets harmony in every conversation. The graceful exchange, uniting minds. The graceful exchange, embracing diversity. The graceful exchange, honoring God.